We're going to come in and get happy today at Lake Winnie, the South's favorite family amusement park. Not sure who says that, but it is a pretty good time. I'm Hyde. I'm here at the Georgia-Tennessee border. If you're not familiar with Lake Winnie, it is right outside Chattanooga, just a couple miles off I-75. Makes for the perfect rest area stop if you're heading to Florida or up to somewhere else. So let's head in, check out what the small park has to offer. Just redeem my ticket. Lady goes, oh, you must be meeting up with some friends. I go, no, just swinging in, checking out the place myself. And she goes, well, that's pretty weird. Great guest service to have here. Seems like, according to the ticket booth, several rides are not operating today. I think they're really kind of focused on their water park right now. You can see the park has a mixture of carnival rides that have just like upped and placed themselves in the park. Kind of see around here. Knockoff Dumbo right when you come in. This one looks a little bit more permanent. So that's the thing is like, you know, you look at those rides, up and diet carnival rides, and then you have like this one that they seem to try a little bit harder on. We're kind of just going and walk the whole park, I guess. So the park is kind of central around this small lake here. I don't know if it's man-made or real, but kind of like the signature shot of the park here. Normally these would be gift stores and games closed today. Which I seem to remember them actually having a pretty good selection of merchandise for being a tiny little park. Do have the nice little chairlift going over there. Park isn't super big. You know, probably the size of like a Waldameer if you're familiar with Waldameer, but Waldameer might be a little bit bigger with their water park expansion in recent years. Like a Waldameer, probably a slightly smaller than Canopy Lake. Always like those clown mouth trash cans. I think it's maybe just a tiny bit smaller than Canopy, but Canopy has a few more bigger rides. There's the Wacky Factory dark ride over here. It's always fun to see a old school dark ride like this. You have to cross the moat to get in. This back half of the park does appear to be closed off. They have, I believe, another train station over there. There is a wacky worm over there. Nice looking carousel of the grates. Doesn't look like food is an option today. Fortunately for a Sunday, not a good day for them. Only a few cars in the parking lot. As you can see, only a few people out and about. Looks like the steel coaster is closed too. And now, you know, I will say, to give them a little bit of credit, they do say on their website select rides are operating, but still charging $35 when two of your roller coasters aren't operating. It does not appear that their signature shoot the chutes ride, so this is probably the closest we're going to get to it. Signature shoot the chutes. It's probably the park's most classic and famous ride. I believe they built it in-house. You start with going through, like, you know, old school tunnel of love there. There's nothing in it. It's just a pure black nothing for about like 3-4 minutes. Then you come around, you go up that hill, and you shoot down the track there, come back around. But unfortunately, that does look closed. Pretty big bummer, since that's kind of one of the unique rides. Again, a little bit of bummer that you have literally sections of the park closed off, including some of the bigger rides with Wild Lightning over here. Kind of a strange looking wild mouse. Closed off and still charging full price. Not a big fan of that. keep on walking around over here. You see, it doesn't have quite the charm of a Waldameer. I will say, I feel like last time I've come here, which was probably about 10 years ago, don't know if it's a symptom of them only being partially open right now, the current environment or whatnot. The park does not feel as quirky and as kind of clean as I remember it. But over here is kind of one of the main attractions. Cannonball. Classic PTC goodness. Very, 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 very similar to Blue Streak at Cedar Point. Layout wise, almost identical in height. And it still has the old PTC buzz bars. You see, nice little sign there. One of the finest coasters in existence, it says. And here's a Ace roller coaster landmark because of those buzz bars. So we'll get in line here. Oh.
Are you soaring and flying? Are you
Still
soaring and flying?
Old school.
Are you flying?
I believe I remember seeing on PTC's Facebook page they redid the trains recently, and they do look pretty sharp. Time to ride. So overall, though, Cannonball it's okay. Even with just having buzz bars, you don't get the airtime you get on Blue Streak with the actual individual lap bars. Oh, we got another ride open here. Looks like at one point there might have been a mini golf course over here a long, long time ago, perhaps. And then got some more closed rides over here. It doesn't look like these they even plan on opening anytime soon. The Orbiter has a couple plants in front and is missing the rest of it. But here is a Cannonball. Again, very, very similar to Blue Streak, just not as much airtime. Kind of getting a good look at it. That straight out and back style layout. So I mean, just like when you cut the grass, you couldn't sweep up. I'm not super critical, guys, but I seem to remember this place used to be in a lot better shape. Maybe I'll give them a pass because it's a different kind of year. I do like the all white on the wooden roller coaster. I do think that's a kind of a neat thing. So I don't know if it's just not, giving it all this season, but the park just feels kind of run down. Drop my receipt. Back in this corner is the Sokya water park. But as you can see, every ride... Paratrooper's open. That makes 4 rides, I guess. Everything else is completely closed off and looks completely abandoned. I guess I don't give the park too much fault for saying, hey, we're not opening, we're not, don't have the crew. It's the Cannonball. It goes all the way back behind the water park Sokya. Covered wagon ride here. That's kind of neat. Here's the back part of the Wild Mouse coaster. It is a little bit of a different kind of Wild Mouse, but it still features that same, your typical Wild Mouse layout. I feel like having a great neon Cannonball sign on top of that building would look really, really cool. If I owned the park, I'd do that. Closed food stand. Good thing I ate on my way here, because I don't think I'm getting food here. Time to take the Skyride across the other side of the park and explore what's going on over there. It's your standard chairlift. And we're back. We're on the Skyride here, Lake Winnie. I think under the right circumstances, the park's in a good shape, crowded with a fun vibe going. This park could be a blast, but with pretty much everything closed and you charging full price, it's hard to have a great time here. Great shot at closed wild mouse there. Swings over here. We'll get a nice shot of the shoot the chutes boat ride coming across the lake over here. Now, like I said, this park is just a few miles off of 75. So if you are thinking of driving down to Florida, or you're in Florida and you're driving up to Dollywood, it is just a very quick little pit stop. I'm actually surprised they don't advertise themselves as a rest area. If I owned the park, I'd be like, why stop at a gross rest area when you could stop in and ride a couple rides for a few minutes and kill some time? Kind of get an overview of the park over here. I had to take a few photos there for the In the Loop Instagram. Shameless plug. In the Loop podcast on Instagram. Come join the fun there. Kind of see the rest of the park. Well, then for the few people walking over there, you would think the park is closed. But here we see the boat chute. And what's kind of neat about the boat chute is it is not on a track. So you come down that hill. We'll get a better look at the hill. Maybe like 25 feet tall. And you shoot right down there. And it actually leaves the track for a moment. And then gets funneled back into the track down there. So it's kind of neat. As you can see, you would get on there. It goes through that tunnel. Tunnel of love, if you will, kind of thing. And all the way back around and then to the top of the lift right there. Water is super clear though. Good shot at Shoot the Chutes, which again, I believe this was built in-house of sorts, and it is quite old. You see the train tracks coming up over here. The train kind of goes around the entire park, but unfortunately is closed today. You see the chairlift is just a one-way journey across the lake and back. I believe what we're looking at coming up here is the picnic pavilions. Now, obviously, given the time, they're not necessarily hosting events. But if you wanted to host an event, if you ever wanted to host free RT, I guess this would be where we be hosting the event. See, since this whole area is closed off, the best shot to show you. Some rides are missing over there. Let's check out the rest of the park, and I'll come back up here to wrap it up. This is pretty neat. Scooter's Pizza has some old bumper cars on the top. And I'm pretty sure this is where bumper cars used to be. Now it's half skee ball, half food. Not quite sure. Here's some selection of kids' rides. Free Whale. Not Free Willy. Free Whale. Some bumblebees. The boat ride is back that way. Obviously, it's all closed off. We can't get back there. It's like I walked myself into a dead end. All right, enough with this edited clip. Back to the Skyride. So that, my friends, is Lake Winnie. I wish I could show you more. Like I said, if you can't tell from my tone here, pretty disappointed that I couldn't show you more. To the park's credit, I will say, before you lambast me in the comments, they do say select rides will be open. But it would have been nice to have a list published. I'm not sure I would have made the couple-hour drive out here if I knew only 3 or 4 rides were going to be open outside the water park. You'd have thought that at least the Cannonball was open, but you would have thought maybe the boat chute or the Wild Mouse, some of their larger attractions would have been open. So hard for me to recommend coming out to Lake Winnie this year. Like I kind of said earlier, I do hope that overall, some of the lesser quality scene around the park isn't the trend the park is going in. It's just having a little bit of a rough year this year. So hoping the best, and only living about an hour and a half away, I'm I'll give it another shot and check it out again in maybe a year or two, because it does have some fun charm. Any park that has a classic PTC and a classic wacky factory has the groundwork to be a real fun time. But like I said, this is a park you definitely want to stop at if you're coming up and down 75. Just probably not this year. There is another credit behind the wacky factory, while a wacky worm. And, you probably only need about an hour or so here at the park. The Larson Loop over there is the front entrance. The wooden coaster is the back. And outside of kids rides, unless you have some kids, you're only going to probably want to ride 6 or 7 things. So definitely check it out. It's probably a one and done kind of place. Though I think they are probably, a cleanup, and they clean the park back up and get maybe a wooden warrior, or another coaster like that. I think it really bring it into like the Waldemere type conversation. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are you a fan of Lake Winnie? Have you been in recent years? And maybe my experience today sans some of the ride closings, just the general direction of the park's going, or maybe hopefully you can tell me, hey, I went last year, the park was looking fantastic, and they're just probably having a little bit harder time this year. Hopefully that's the case. Be sure to like, subscribe. We'll check back in with Lake Winnie in a year or two, because it's always a good time getting a ride on a classic wooden roller coaster.